Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz look like they're on a collision course for a final in Miami, but there are a lot of tough competitors in their way. This is the quarterfinal preview. Come on, let's get stuck into it. And here are all of our quarterfinals. We have Carlos Alcaraz versus Grigor Dimitrov in the first quarterfinal. Alexander Zverev versus Fabian Marozsan. We have Daniil Medvedev versus Nicolas Jarry. And Jannik Sinner versus Tomas Machac at the bottom. A couple of names, maybe 2 or 3 in there I didn't expect to see. Tomas Machac being one of them. He's always been on the radar, but never really done it at a big event. I feel this is his coming out party. Look forward to seeing how he does against Jannik Sinner. Obviously, we've seen Tomas Machac play really well this week. He's taken out some very, very good players on his way. I mean, he just defeated Arnaldi 6-3, 6-3. And Arnaldi was playing pretty well. He managed to take out Bublik and Shapo. But yeah, Rublev, Murray, Arnaldi, not a bad list, and he's only dropped 1 set so far in this tournament, but he will be up against Jannik Sinner in his quarterfinal. And Jannik Sinner, I thought he did everything the right way. I think he came up against a very good Chris O'Connell. This tournament, Chris was playing some fantastic tennis, and he really took the match to Jannik Sinner, and he was up a break in that first set. Jannik Sinner just finds a way to win these days, though. He's a bit of a grinder, and you could see, even though O'Connell was hitting with some real power, like Jannik, he can hit a ball on the run very well. He was being pushed to the side, to the other side, and there was always a response to O'Connell being aggressive on the court. I really liked what I saw from Sinner. I feel like he'd leveled up a little bit from the last round as well. And he's looking like a little bit of a shoo-in potentially for the semi-final, but he has to beat another tough competitor. Machac is no joke, and I'm sure that'll be super entertaining. I mean, Chris O'Connell, I'd sort of put him alongside Machac, I'd say. I think that they're both very solid players, especially on the hard courts. We've actually interviewed both of them as well, which is quite interesting. But yeah, Jannik Sinner, he will be the favourite in that quarterfinal matchup. And I'm really excited to see how Jannik Sinner gets on. Another statistic about these quarterfinalists as well. Obviously, if we go back 15 years... we've got the 1, 2, 3, 4 were Nadal at number 1, Federer at number 2, Djokovic at number 3, and Andy Murray at number 4. And at the quarterfinal stage this year, we obviously have Alcaraz at number 1. We've got Sinner as number 2. These are seeds. I know the Djokovic fans are going to jump in and go, he's not number 1. Number 1 seeds. Alcaraz number 1, Sinner number 2, Medvedev number 3, and Zverev at number 4. And I think, well, Alcaraz, the way he's playing at the moment, could well become world number 1 again very, very soon. I mean, this match with Lorenzo Musetti, it was billed to be like one of those popcorn matches, and I think it did live up to the bill, especially as we got to see some crazy shots, like a front-facing tweener lob from Lorenzo Musetti. I don't think I've seen many people attempt this. I mean, it was a drop volley, really, from Alcaraz. Lorenzo came in and did the tweener lob. Alcaraz did a tweener in return, and then a brilliant volley to finish the rally. Musetti playing well. I think despite losing this one, it was a convincing loss, but I sort of expected it to be a convincing loss, sadly, for Musetti. I feel there are levels. I don't feel that Musetti, despite how well he played in the round before against Ben Shelton, it's a different animal, Carlos Alcaraz, and he's just everywhere on the court. That was the one thing to note, really, in this match, is shots that were working against Ben Shelton were just not working against Carlos Alcaraz, like especially the backhand down the line. Alcaraz was wise to it. I mean, he nearly hit the exact same shot that he got the amazing winner against Shelton, but Alcaraz slid over there and put a volley away instead. Alcaraz is on another level right now, and a 6-3, 6-3 victory against somebody like Musetti, who was just, I thought, could potentially give him a slightly closer set than that, but credit to Alcaraz that it was a 6-3, 6-3. There's not even a tie-break in there, no 7-5. A comfortable victory over a very, very good opponent. Somebody, after just having a child, who looks back to his best, I'd say, Musetti. And that's not discrediting him, saying his best is a loss 6-3, 6-3 to Alcaraz, because that can be a lot of players. Look what he did to Zverev in the last tournament. I mean, we'll get on to Zverev next, I think, because Zverev, well, it was incredible. I thought it was going to be a closer match, to be honest. They're two big serving players, Kalan Khachanov and Alex Zverev, but Zverev just wiped the court with him, 6-1, 6-4. The rematch of the Olympics final, as well. And it's his 27th Masters quarter-final, and he's tied with Raonic and Tsonga now. It's only 69 minutes on court, and no break points faced, and only lost 9 points on serve all match. And if that's not a scary thing for anybody else in the draw, I don't know what is, because obviously he's going to be up against next Fabian Marozsan, and Marozsan probably I'd say the biggest upset. I think Machac is quite big as well, but defeating Dimitrov, who's been in amazing form. I think myself, JG, saw Dimitrov going past this, maybe facing Jannik Sinner, who knows, in a semi-final. You just weren't sure, really. I don't know what to say about Marozsan. He's like at the moment, a patchy player where one tournament's great, another one maybe not so great. Will he finally hit the ground running, where we get to see an incredible level from him on a more consistent basis? I mean, his form's not that bad. I mean, and obviously in this tournament, he's beaten Kovacevic, Holger Rune, Alexei Poprin and Alex de Minaur. In Indian Wells, he beat Sebochvild, beat Jarry and Rodionov. Before that, there were losses to Fokina, Khachanov. I mean, he lost to Marton Fucsovics, Koepfer. At the Australian Open, he lost to Taylor Fritz, but he did defeat Cerundolo, who's in a bit of a bad patch, and Cilic. Yeah, I mean, the jury's still out a little bit, but the more he puts in these performances, the more I'm going to want to watch him play tennis, because his style of tennis is so attractive, very aggressive, and such great hands as well. The way he caresses the ball, especially against somebody like a de Minaur, who's so fast around the court, to be able to put the ball in places that he can't get to, I think you've got to give this young kid a round of applause. I think he is definitely still blooming. He's only 24 years old. The best could be yet to come for Fabian Marozsan. And Zverev's not going to be an easy matchup, especially if he's serving in this crazy form where he doesn't even get break points against his serve and barely drops a point. I mean, you've seen how much of a problem Alcaraz has with Zverev when he's serving well, and he's one of the potential bogey players for an Alcaraz. So we need to really watch out for Alex Zverev in this tournament, and we need to watch out for the 1, 2, 3, 4, because, well, it looks like it could happen. That's what I had in my bracket. I had the 1, 2, 3, 4. Zverev was maybe a little bit of one that a lot of people may have just gone with a different person in that section, but you never know with Zverev. He turned it on against Khachanov. He looked incredible. It just literally wiped him off the court. It was his backhand. I swear, when Zverev's backhand's really firing and looking solid, the rest of his game follows. And the serve was going well, the backhand going well. And when he comes to the net, he's nearly like impossible to pass. He's a huge frame to try and get it either over or past. And yeah, Khachanov didn't look like he had no ideas of how to beat Zverev. So well done to Sasha Zverev. Probably the craziest match of that fourth round, where it had to be Grigor Dimitrov versus Hubi Hurkacz. Who would have thought? I mean, Hurkacz, obviously a former Miami champion. I would have thought he would have won this one, but credit to Grigor Dimitrov for continuing his great run of form. I mean, how long's it going to last? He seems to not lose that often these days, and there's normally a run of quite a few consecutive wins before another loss. And credit to Grigor for really turning his career around. He's at a career, ranking of 12 at the moment. Hurkacz was 9. Maybe he'll be climbing up the rankings a little bit more after this performance. But he's going to be obviously facing a terrible next round matchup for him. It will be Carlos Alcaraz. I'll give you my prediction on that at the end. But let's talk about Hurkacz versus Dimitrov. It was sort of a match of different styles. As we know, Hubi Hurkacz, very big serve, heavy. And I think Dimitrov's game is just one of the most attractive to watch on the tour. The single-handed backhand is just so nice to watch. And the forehand looks like a real weapon these days too. The fact that he had to come back from this first set deficit and then managed to grab the second set, that final set was always going to be a real tight one. Hurkacz, if he just held his serve, was always going to be a tough man to even get close to breaking. We know what it's like for when you're facing Hurkacz. Even the likes of Djokovic will tell you nearly impossible to break him when he's serving well. And in this final set, there were no breaks of serve. And the only time when it all came tumbling down was in the tie-break. And I felt a bit sorry for Hubi Hurkacz, if I'm honest. There was a really, just one point that just defined nearly the whole match, I'd say. Hurkacz was running in to try and get I think it was a drop shot from Dimitrov. And he got there, he slid, he got the ball over the net, but the umpire said he touched the net. And I don't see Hurkacz lose his temper ever. I don't think I've ever seen him lose his temper. But instantly he threw his racket into the centre of the court, on the floor. He obviously didn't feel like he touched the net. I saw him speaking with Dimitrov after the match, talking about touching the net. He apologised to Dimitrov. I think Hurkacz is just not the type of person who's going to be like that on a regular basis. Yeah, but he touched the net with his left foot, apparently. And you can understand how disappointed he was because he put so much effort into it. I've never seen Hurkacz on the floor more times than in this match. He was trying to run so many shots down. Fair play to him. A really valiant effort, but well played, Grigor Dimitrov. He does progress. He faces Carlos Alcaraz in the quarterfinals. The last quarterfinal to speak about, or quarterfinalists, it is Daniil Medvedev and Nicolas Jarry, who's been sort of making his way through this tournament unnoticed a little bit. He's knocked out the likes of Jack Draper, not an easy one, Seboc Wild, been in good form, and Casper Ruud, normally goes deep in Masters events. So make of that list what you will. But I think it's a really good list of people to have beaten, especially to beat Ruud in straight sets. Will he have the same success against Daniil Medvedev, though? I'm not so sure, because Medvedev came up against an informed Kopfer, and Kopfer had just beaten Ugo Humbert. I mean, I didn't really give him a chance. He did well in the first set, but then got bageled in the second set. And Daniil, he was the champion of this event for a reason. It's because he's good in Miami. And, well, it's going to take a tough cookie to stop Daniil Medvedev progressing into that semi-final. Is Nicolas Jarry the man to do it, though? That's the question. Let's get on to some predictions, though. I'll tell you how I see this one going. Right, Carlos Alcaraz versus Grigor Dimitrov. Sadly, Grigor, I'm not giving you a hope in this one. I think Alcaraz blitzes him. I think it might be just a breaker set, though. 3-3 again. I'm going to go... This one's quite tough, because if Marozsan plays lights-out tennis, Zverev could be in trouble, but I feel the serve of Zverev is just... If he serves well, he wins. And that there's no other way around it. Medvedev versus Jarry. I think Jarry's done really well so far. Do I think he's going to beat Medvedev? No, I don't. I think Daniil will go through. Will it go to 3 sets? Maybe, because of a tie break, but I think Daniil too strong. The third set will be a comfortable one. And for me, this one could be the toughest one to predict. And even though I think it's discrediting Jannik Sinner, or it's crediting Tomas Machac, but I feel like this one, on paper, or based upon the body of work, Tomas Machac has made himself look more attractive. But the way Jannik Sinner's been playing, signs in that Murray match from Machac, I thought Murray should have won the match. So based upon that, I think Jannik Sinner would hold his nerve a lot better, and he may not even get into the situations where he's even able to be in a position to beat Jannik Sinner. So I'm going to be going for Jannik Sinner. The 1, 2, 3, 4 I think is going to happen. Let me know if you agree in that comment section below. And if you haven't already, smash a like, subscribe, and join us for more Miami Open action coming up all this week.